What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus live video. Today we're going over a deck profile. This is Branded, one of my favorite decks. You guys have known I've been playing this off and on the channel for a long time. This deck is getting a little bit of support with PHNI in the format. Let's go about that. Thanks for Fire King. We are going to be able to play less Ash, therefore we're not going to get Ash on Branded Fusion. We also can play some really cool cards, which is in our side or in our main deck here. I'm not going to show off the side deck. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll explain the card options when we get inside it. We're going to start off with the 3 Albaz. You don't have to necessarily play 3 of this. You could absolutely cut it down to 2. I really do like the 3 because I like to play with my resources as well. Runic is very prevalent in our locals, so I can just keep this. If one gets banished, I can keep in rotation, having those 2. But you can absolutely cut this down to 2. This is a 40 card deck. I would replace, I'll explain what I would replace if I wanted to play only 2 of them, but that's going to get, when we get to the card, then we're going to play 3 of the Aluber. This card is your searcher for your stuff. We all know how this goes. You play with 3 of these. Simply we're playing 2 of this and 2 in Quem. But I really like the 3. It also plays around when you have your searches for the tragedy and stuff like that. It's also really nice. But talking about tragedy, we are playing the 1 tragedy. This card is still amazing. I finally got a Euro print, which I'm really happy about. Absolutely beautiful card. So just for your Despia monsters, we're not playing ad libitum. And then you can banish it to set one of your branded cards. Really important. People forget about that effect all the time. Then we are playing the 1 Guiding Quem. This is just absolutely amazing. Being able to dump either your Albaz or dump any of your cards like Retribution or even a Branded Fusion if you're at Retribution in graveyard. You're able to do your plays, bring it back out. You can dump your Cartesia, then Cartesia can summon. And just don't forget, this can actually summon out Mirror Jade as well, which is really important. Then we are playing the 2 copies of Cartesia. You don't need any more than 2. This card comes back all the time. It's well, I see this all the time in my hand. If you can normal summon this, sometimes you do normal summon Albaz. Don't activate the effect. Then special summon out the Cartesia, then you can play like that, which is really nice. You don't always want to walk into a pop or something like that with the with the Albaz. And you find you can summon them out other times as well. So it's just important to know your resources, know your deck a lot. Then we're playing the Albion, the Mercurier, and that's going to be it for the Albaz cards. Related cards, you have your Monster Negate. I do like this card at 2, but unfortunately just not really needed. And you want to play around Droll as much as possible, which is why some people are playing 2 Quems and 2 Alubers. But then for your other cards, you are playing the 1 Lubellion, the 1 Sorinier, and then the Gimmick Puppet of Nightmare. This is an honorary branded card, to be honest. This card has gone up in price a lot. People are buying it out. Just don't buy this out for ridiculous prices. Don't spend more than 20 bucks on a Gimmick Puppet. That's just absolutely gimmicky. And then of course, your Sorinier, the Dark, dumps this if you have to use it. And then this lets you dump with the Branded Fusion, go for your Albion, which is really nice. And then you can tag it out for Albion, put Lost in the field, which is just absolutely amazing. Then we are playing the 2 Nibiru's. So this would be my 3rd copy if I was going to play 2 Albaz. But I'm choosing to play only 2 of these. So I'm only playing 2 because it's my last 2 40 cards. So I needed 2 extra slots. I was thinking of playing Lightning Storm, but they don't really solve a problem. And then I was also thinking of playing Droll. Now Droll is 100% a good card you can play. But when I was looking at playing against Fire King, playing against a bunch of the other decks, Snake Eyes, stuff like that, a lot of the times if you have a good hand, you can actually Nibiru them. And then if you Nibiru right before they do the Princess Summon, if they're on IP and then whatever else, yes, Flambird will still be able to summon out those 2 bodies onto the field. After that, they have to use another resource to get into a Princess, which is really nice for us. And then it's I can really beat their board a lot of the times as well. If I leave a light on the field, or if I have a light monster myself, I can just go beat over something, which is really nice. And we are playing Super Polys, which is why I think that this is a little bit better than Droll in this deck. They have some lines I can play around Droll as well, and they have some lines I can play around Nib. They do play through Nib, but with this, with a Super Poly, is just absolutely insane. So I just wanted to mention that out. You can play Droll. In a lot of other decks, Droll is the correct answer to play, but in this deck, I find that Nibiru is better for me, and at least at my locals. Now for the spell count, we are playing the 3 Branded Fusion. This card's still at 3, obviously we're playing at 3. 3 Branded Opening. This card protects, don't forget. 1 Branded Red, 1 Branded Lost. Not much to say about this. People always forget that this Lost protects activations, so you cannot Bell. Very important, you cannot Bell under this. Bell is a really relevant card in this format, which is really important. It also kind of helps you play around Droll a bit, because if you summon on the field, then you can activate a Mirror Jade, or whatever you summon, activate the effect. They can't actually Droll you because it activates on res. So as long as you continue your chain links and protect yourself correctly, you can protect yourself from being Drolled. And then Branded Red is really nice as well, being able to summon out Guardian Chimera or going for another line of anything else. Guardian Chimera is actually seeing a lot less play lately, but it's definitely not cuttable. Just when you're playing against Fire King or the Snake Eye deck, you have to like really organize it correctly. And yeah, but you find yourself like gimmick puppeting a lot until you get to the grind games. Now the other spells, we are playing the Tunadir Servants. You could absolutely play this at 3, but I just don't want the consistency of it. Then we are playing the 3 Branded Deployments. This gets you your Albaz or your Cartesias. This also gets you Albaz, which is really important as well. And it also can get you Quem. People forget this all the time, that dumping this can get you Quem. Because a lot of times, like, okay, well, you're going to dump this anyways. And then, like, obviously that's going to get you your Quem. So it's like, well, you can do other lines as well, which is really nice with this card. Dumping Albion, search Quem, normal summon Quem, dump Albaz. And then you get your lines going, which is really cool. And then we are playing the triple Super Poly. This card is insane in this deck. Not only is it an engine piece, it's also a disruption piece. Like if you're going second, you can just Super Poly their board and get rid of their Amphil Whale and like whatever else they have, like a Flamberge. They can't respond with the Flamberge, which is really nice. Like, so you can obviously just get rid of it. They're just going to summon back out 2 level 1 monsters. And they have to burn like another resource to get that Flamberge back to the field and then summon out the IP Masquerader or whatever else they want to summon. So really nice card. I really am enjoying this card, this format. It's like absolutely insane. You can play another end card that I will mention in the extra deck that we're not playing, but I don't think that's really necessary in this deck. Then we're playing the 2 Thrusts and the Thrust package here with the duplication. So the reason why I'm not playing triple Thrust is because in this deck, I don't want to play Talents. Like if you wanted to, you can cut down your Nibiru, and then you could play like Talents, a 3rd Thrust. You can cut down Albaz and maybe go for like a Soul Release or a Lightning Storm, whatever else you really want to. There's lots of options you can do with it. I just really am enjoying the 2, 2, and 1. Obviously, I could really probably just cut these because every time I go with this in my deck, I end up drawing it. So I probably don't even need the thrusts, but that's just not logical. So you are playing the Fusion Duplication. This helps you play through Ash. And even if you don't play through Ash, you can actually, or even if you don't get Ashed, if you have this anyways, you can actually save your Branded in red for a copy of Guardian Chimera. You can just activate this, target the Branded Fusion, banish it, and summon out the Sanctifier by banishing an Albaz and a copy of Cartesia or sending this from the deck. And all of a sudden you have like this plus your Branded Red still. So you can actually activate the effect, add back the Albaz, and go for a Guardian Chimera, which is absolutely insane after you already have used the your Sanctifier if they're playing through it, which chances are they aren't, so very important. But just like a lot of combos you can do with this, it's not just, to go for a Branded Fusion or stuff like that. And then we are playing the Retribution as well as the triple Imperm. So this is like a good hand trap paired with other cards in your hand. You got to be very careful when you do use this. You want to use it on a very impactful card like Flamberge or a copy of either like even Princess sometimes, stopping Princess to go into a copy of or bringing back like the Anvil Whale or bringing back a monster, which is normally either Flamberge or a card that they're going to link away to go for Anvil Whale is really nice. And then like a lot of times they can also just like go for something and then you just imperm this, like imperm their IP in like the standby phase, so they can't really do anything with it, which is also cool because they want to play around Talents and Thrust a lot, so they will be trying to do that in the draw phase. And you just like imperm it, they're like, okay, well, I can't even link anymore, which is really nice. But yeah, like, just be careful when you're using the cards in this format because they are going to be playing through a lot of it. Like, you don't want to hit like an Ash, something like that. That card kind of sucks. Now for the extra deck, we are playing the 2 Mirror Jades, very standard. Cash only in the format, so you can only play 1 Lubellion. You're going to play the 2 Albion just because you summon 1, then you can dump it. 1 Albion Sanctifier Dragon. This card one day will be at banned. Rinbrum, summon up Mirror Jade during your opponent's turn. We are playing Titaniclad. We are playing the Nadir Servant, as well as, just being able to make this sometimes is really nice. We are playing the Granganol. Card's absolutely insane. And the 1 Queritus here, just because we can. This card could be something else. I really do enjoy the Queritus. A lot of times you can like summon it out in defense position, turn everything to 0, and they can't kill, or they can't attack and then die. So like, you just keep this in the field in defense. They're not going to be able to attack. They're not going to beat over it. And then obviously if this does dies, you can just send it to the graveyard, activate the effect, summon out like an Albaz. Albaz confused, make a Mirror Jade, and it's absolutely nice. But it's definitely important to put this in defense position a lot of times as well. People do forget about that. With the copies of the like Garunix in the deck, or as well as Ponix. You know, destroying a card and then summoning it out, and then being able to like just essentially go crazy with Kieran is just absolutely disgusting. So make sure you summon this monster in defense position. That's it for the branded related extra deck fusion monsters. Now we're going on to the generic fusions. We do have a copy of Chimera. This card's absolutely mandatory. Then we are playing the Super Poly package. You could play the Earth Golem thing that gets rid of IP and then the Amble Whale. But the thing is like, this just is so much better. Like, Runix is just absolutely crazy. And then if you have like another copy of like something, you can just summon this out on the field and then like negate the stuff. Also very important, this is a wing beast. If you're able to get this on the field and then they have like a copy of Runix as well, you can actually Super Poly them away using this copy as well, sending it to the graveyard. You're not destroying it, so like they won't be able to trigger something else in the graveyard. You're sending it, and then you get like have your Runix draw as well. It's like just really cool. You can do stuff like that. A lot of the times it's like just important to note. I guess like that wouldn't really go into anything because like you can't really do anything else. Like you can't go into another copy of Runix, so you have to be careful. But like sometimes you can just use different monsters on the field. And then we are of course playing the Despia Luluwalith because this card is absolutely mandatory. You don't really summon it ever out, but like with this as well as your copy of Queritus, you have options you can choose, and you can actually send this off of the Nadir Servant, and then Nadir Servant will let you. Like if you really want to keep, like Nadir Servant has essentially, you send either this, sometimes that, and this. So you have like 4 lines for your Nadir Servant. Pretty much these two do the same thing, but like if you already have a way to get this in the graveyard, you can actually use this to summon out Cartesia, which is really nice. Then obviously you can send this to search for your branded cards, and then this, if you already have everything else, you just want to activate a card, you just send this to the graveyard. And then you're going to be able to like get an Albaz, and then Albaz will be in the graveyard at some point. Then you just Rimbrum, banish, summon it out. Like there's a lot of lines you can play with this deck, which is like really helps you out when you know your deck. Obviously that's like every deck, but this deck really rewards high players and using your combos correctly, which is what I really like about the deck. But regardless, hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, see more content like this. Don't forget to stay safe. Peace.